Alrighty then, we're going to look at The Empire Strikes Back, Part 7. And particularly, we're going to be looking at technology and tactics. Technology was a very key element in defeating the Axis. For example, the Allies had radar, or what means radio detection and ranging, and this was never fully developed by the Axis powers, and it proved to be vital for the Allies' victory. The ability to detect enemies miles and miles away was invaluable for the Allies. Now, sonar, which means sound navigation and ranging, was actually developed and improved by both sides. Using machines that could detect echolocation, a trained technician could see the outlines of ships, for example what you see on the lower right. If a ship on the surface could detect a U-boat or some submarine below, they would be able to drop depth charges in the water. Now, in case you don't know what I mean, I'm going to show you a scene from the movie U-571 to get an idea about what it would be like to be in a submarine with depth charges going off all around you. Pretty intense, huh? Technology that was exclusively German was the V-1 flying bomb, V for Vengeance weapon. It was guided by a radio-controlled system and was the precursor to today's cruise missiles, flying over the terrain at speeds in excess of 400 miles per hour, but could still be shot down with anti-aircraft fire. The first V-1 was fired at London in June of 1944, 1 week after D-Day, and over 11,000 were launched altogether, mostly at targets in southern England, killing and wounding thousands of British citizens. Even more impressive was the development of V-2 rockets, the world's first ballistic missiles, meaning they were launched into the atmosphere and hit their targets at speeds faster than sound. In other words, you would hear the explosion before you would hear the sound of the missile. They were the first human artifacts to enter outer space. Beginning in September 1944, over 3,000 V-2s were launched against Allied targets, mostly at London. The attacks resulted in the deaths of around 9,000 civilians and military personnel, while 12,000 forced laborers and concentration camp prisoners were killed producing the weapons. Fortunately for the Allies, the V-2's successful development happened too late in the war for the Germans. Had they developed it earlier, they could have eventually launched rockets across the Atlantic against the United States. After the war, the US and the Soviet Union actually used this technology to launch their space programs. Now, since both sides could detect each other's messages, Enigma machines were used for the encryption and decryption of secret messages used mostly by the Germans in World War II. High-level intelligence in Poland prior to the war, and later in Britain during the war, were able to crack the codes to some degree of success. The decryption of the Enigma ciphers arguably shortened the war by many months, if not years, and other historians have made the case that without these decryptions, the Axis powers could possibly have even won the war. The Allies, however, relied on a less mathematical approach, using ethnic languages as a basis for encrypting and decrypting secret messages. The name Code Talkers is strongly associated with bilingual Navajo speakers specifically recruited during World War II by the Marines to serve in the Pacific Theater. Now, code talking was pioneered by Choctaw Indians in World War I, and there were native speakers other than Navajos who were used during World War II, including Cherokee, Choctaw, and Lakota, to name just a few. Even some soldiers of Basque ancestry were utilized as code talkers. The Japanese and Axis powers were never able to crack the codes used by the Allies, seeing as they used code words even within their own unique languages. As a case in point, there were no native Navajo speakers in Germany. Now, to give you a better perspective on the logistics behind code talking, here's a clip from the movie Wind Talkers.
Raise your right hand. I state your full name.
I, Ben Yazid.
Do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Jap Hago, who can give me the code word for tank. Come on. You boys want to be code talkers. Show me some brains. Think. What do we call a tank? Tortoise. Good. Artillery. Code word. In code, Private Whitehorse. Very good. Japanese Zero. Code word.
Get the Navy on the horn and tell them to dig out those guns!
Target reference. Log 1. Right 700. Elevation 050.
Relay the damn coordinates!
Arizona, Arizona! It's okay, go!
좋게 커 에네 소리
카 카시 그렇지 카 그래서 제 카시 카제 마이
조이殿! 水の中で喋っているように聞こえます。英語でやりましょうか。
네서티 비카
에그시?
Target reference. Dog 1. South 700. Elevation 050.
Up 50! Fire for effect!
카 마이 마스터 카 그래서
Set.